diamond sponsor of this event again, and we're very privileged and honored to be here and spend some time with you this morning. You have 4 days now of never ending valuable sessions, and looking forward to it. It's always a great time, and I suggest that you strap in and get ready for 4 days of some great content. And today we're celebrating you and your profession, and we're glad that you're here with us this morning. So, the last couple of years, especially, have seemed to caught up with, I would say, most of us. And I wonder if most of us don't feel like life maybe has gotten a little heavier. Do you feel overwhelmed, a little more nervous than normal? Are you more stressed, anxious? Might even have a feeling of hopelessness. You might find yourself saying, today, today looks a lot like yesterday, and tomorrow is going to look a lot like today. Kind of a defeatist attitude, hopeless, even cynical. George Carlin has said many things in his long career, but one of my favorites is he said, inside every cynical person, there's a disappointed idealist. And I think that's right on the money, because when you have ideas, when you have expectations of how you think things should go, and then they don't go that way, it's frustrating. And when that cycle happens over and over and over and over again, you really begin to lose hope and think, well, why should I even try anymore? Because nothing's going to work out. And it's really easy to just slide in to getting stuck. So this kind of attitudes, it's not unusual. And I think it's probably happened to most of us. The World Health Organization says that the level of anxiety and depression increased by a massive 25% because of COVID and all that aftermath of the cement mixer of unrest that made up much of 2020 and 2021. And according to the American Psychological Association, rates for anxiety and depression among US adults were 4 times higher between April of 2020 and August of 2021 than they were all of 2019. So this is a real thing. And this level of anxiety and frustration and stress can cause many people to resort to unhealthy coping mechanisms like drinking too much, abusing prescription drugs or non-prescription drugs, overeating, binging on entertainment, gambling, and other things, just to try to escape all of that worry. And unfortunately, every year worldwide, close to 3 million people die due to substance abuse. And every 40 seconds, somebody dies by suicide worldwide. These are very troubling times. One of the positive things that came out of that 2021 and up until now is there's an understanding, there's a difference between mental health and mental illness. Mental health is how your daily attitude and outlook and emotions are, kind of how those are gauging. You might think more about mental illness if you have a constant struggle with your thought patterns and behaviors, your daily temperament, and those type of things. But people have become much more comfortable seeking help. And that's a real positive thing that came out of that. So, and there's a lot more avenues to get help that you need. So the threshold is lowered. People feel much more comfortable, and there's a lot of places for them to get the help. So that's great. Well, this morning, I want to discuss 5 fundamental truths to help you find your way to freedom. If you feel like you're in a funk and you just can't seem to get out of it, these 5 things are they're lifestyle changes that you can get yourself into to help get you off the couch, to help get you motivated, get you started, get some momentum going, and find your way to freedom. The first fundamental truth I want to talk about is faith. So you might ask, how can faith help me? Well, you have to begin with faith in yourself. Because if you think that you can't do something, you're right. So it's a mindset, it's a mind change. And how do you flip that switch? How do you take that step to begin getting faith and confidence in yourself? Well, first, let's define what faith is. Webster's says that faith could be an allegiance to duty or to a person. You have a high level of loyalty. Maybe you have fidelity to a promise that you've made, or you have deep sincerity of intentions. You're acting in good faith. It could be a belief and trust in God, a loyalty to God, a belief in traditional doctrines of religion. This is my favorite, a firm belief in something for which there is no proof. You're just stepping out in faith, or something that you believe in specifically, then you have very strong convictions. So, how do we attach faith to our daily walk? Every aspect of your life will be impacted when you incorporate faith into your everyday, ordinary life. Your thoughts, your decisions, your relationships, they all change. The key is, don't go it alone. Remember, we're trying to get out of isolationism. And so don't go it alone. One thing that you could do is join a faith group. Faith groups can be very important. Um, they do a lot of things. One is that you're in community, then you're not isolated, you're in community. And that can initiate social connection with other members of that faith community. It creates a sense of belonging, to a group, and it offers trustworthy and safe social engagement. Also, rituals can be very important. These are cadences, things that you're just used to doing. When you get used to a certain kind of thing, that actually lends some security and comfort. And when you're around other people, they can help you cope with life's difficult circumstances, deaths in the family, and other things that come up. It also provides structure, regularity, that it's predictable. You know that you're every week or twice a week or whatever that is, you're going to be in that faith group. And there are teachings that are generally there as well. And they provide guidelines to live by, the importance of doing the right thing. And then again, people there to help support you, encourage you along that way. One of the hardest parts of life is that we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We don't know. But faith provides the courage to help us overcome that fear of what might be coming, to help us persevere. And some of you may have heard this before, but fear sometimes is described as false evidence appearing real. So a lot of times our fears are simply expectations that we kind of let run amok, and that we don't need to fear. We need to dig in, and we need to have perseverance and courage to get through, and being part of that faith group can help lend that to us. So how does faith impact your life? Faith is the launching pad from which you base your entire life, your decisions, how you handle crisis, how you get through challenges. It is the fundamental basis for life. So, good morning. And I put question marks there. I wanted to just tell you a quick story, trying to personalize this a little bit. So, just over a year ago, Thanksgiving morning last year, I woke up about 6:15 in the morning. I wandered out to the kitchen, grabbed a cup and put it in the refrigerator dispenser, and I was filling it up with water, just still kind of waking up. And I realized I couldn't tell if I was holding the cup. It was so weird. And so I pulled the cup out, I turned to go set it on the island, and it just slipped right out of my hands. And I thought, man, that's weird. And I noticed that my arm didn't quite feel right. it didn't hurt. It wasn't tingly. It just felt kind of numb and weird. And again, I was just waking up. I figured I probably just slept on it wrong. So I went back to bed. Um, my wife had just gotten up and left the house to go to a boot camp fitness class that morning. So, make room for all the food we were going to eat later in the day. And so I got up maybe 10 minutes later. I couldn't really sleep. I'm in the bathroom trying to brush my teeth, and same thing. The arm just wants to hang. I'm like, this is so weird. I wasn't freaking out or anything. I thought, well, if it was asleep or something, it should have fixed itself by now. So I called my wife. I said, maybe you should come back and take me in just to get looked at. We got a big day today. Just want to check this off the list. Well, by the time she got home 10, 15 minutes later, I was fine. All the symptoms were gone. I had full control. It wasn't hanging anymore. I got down, did some push-ups, and it was all good. And I thought, well, maybe I just won't worry about it. Well, I decided maybe we should just go in and get it checked out anyway. Well, the hospital decided to admit me and run some more tests. They were a little concerned about kind of what had happened, and they wanted to figure it out. Well, the long story is they determined that I had, in fact, had a couple of TIAs, mini strokes. When they did the brain MRI, they showed what they called two very small infarctions up in the left side of my brain that controlled the strength and movement in my right hand. And they supposed that probably happened that morning when I was having those symptoms. And I was fortunate that they kind of cleared up as fast as they did. But they were a little confused and concerned because given my age and health, and I didn't have any risk categories or anything for stroke. So they said, normally, when we see somebody in that kind of circumstance, you might have a hole in your heart. I said, what? What do you mean a hole in my heart? They said, yeah, everybody's born with a hole in your heart. Most people's hole closes up when you're born. When you come out of the womb, you start breathing on your own, that hole closes up. But about 25% of the people, it doesn't. And guess I was one of the lucky ones. Didn't close up. And so it took months and months of tests to see if I qualified for the procedure for them to go in and close the hole. And so April 15th, day before Easter, the day before my 34-year wedding anniversary, I went in for heart surgery. Now, spoiler alert, I survived the surgery. 6 months later, just this past mid-October, I was released back to the care of my primary physician. But it was faith that allowed me to go through that experience in peace. It's not that I had peace that everything was going to be okay. I didn't have that. I didn't know if I was going to be okay, that everything was going to be all right, but that I was going to get well. But I did have peace that I knew no matter what, everything was going to be okay. And that's based on my own faith, that based on my faith community. It's based on just my experience in life. And so it's a huge thing. And I mention the story because that event caused me to take stock in my life, right? I started wondering that, do I need to reconcile with anybody? Am I doing what I need to do every day to give myself an opportunity to be the best version of myself? Because life, we hear it all the time, life is short. It is. And life is precious. So don't waste a single day. The second foundational truth is family. Family is your frontline defense and your safe haven. Now, I know for some, family is your source of stress and anxiety. And for you, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. That's hard. So if you find yourself in that situation, then just ask yourself, who is my family? Everybody has family. It could be an immediate family member, a spouse, or significant other. Could be a best friend. It could be a member of that faith community. It's somebody that you can confide in. Now, for me, it's my best friend. His name is Jeff. He's on the left in the dark suit. I'm in the right in that light colored gray jacket. We're standing in front of my grandmother's door. Our moms are identical twin sisters, and Jeff's 30 days older than me. So we grew up more like brothers than first cousins. We spent, I mean, it's like every waking moment together. You know, we were staying over at each other's house every weekend, um, and we shared a locker at school. We were just inseparable. So about 15 years later, here we are, you know, still best friends in front of that same door at my grandma's house. Now, hey, look, okay. It was the 80s. Keep this in mind. It was the 80s. This was cool back then. So you got to give me a break. By the time we were seniors in high school, we had successfully run a campaign together, and Jeff was elected student council president, and I was elected as his vice president. 57 years, and we're still best friends. Even though, as you can see, we cheer for different teams, we're still each other's biggest fans, and we have each other's back no matter what. And I could give you tons of instances where that is true. It doesn't matter what time of the day or night, it doesn't matter what's going on, no questions, we're there for each other. And it's awesome. And everybody needs somebody like that, because family, they can be your rock. And these relationships are critical because family helps you get through these super difficult situations. And then they're also there to help you celebrate in those best moments of your life. They provide security, they provide unconditional love. And when you can't see the good in yourself, they help you to see that, even when you can't. The third foundation of truth is fitness. Now, this is a tough one because I know most people don't like fitness. It's hard, it's difficult. But I'm not talking about just physical fitness, although that's very important. There's emotional fitness and educational fitness, and we'll touch on those quick. So three kinds of physical fitness that the doctors say are the most important. You want to have some kind of cardiovascular, aerobic type of fitness, some kind of strength training, and then stretching, working on flexibility. This is especially important the older that you get. I can attest to this. It's very important. Now, the physical activity can be almost anything. It doesn't, you can jog, swim, you can take a walk, you can garden, go dancing, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, any kind of exercise helps to reduce anxiety and depression. And remember, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get those stress levels down and get us motivated to get out of that funk. So, exercise improves your mental health by reducing anxiety and depression. It reduces negative moods by improving self esteem and all your cognitive functions. That's put out by the National Library of Medicine. And you don't need to be out working out for 2 hours every day. 30 minutes of exercise, like a brisk walk 3 days a week, is enough to take advantage of all those health benefits. And you don't even have to knock out 30 minutes at the same time. You can do 3 10-minute blocks and you will gain the same benefit. So it's not a heavy lift, pun intended. 30 minutes, just get it in, and it can be very helpful. They make so many kinds of watches and other devices today for you to be able to track that. So invest in yourself and start moving a little bit. I want to make sure to highlight Empower Yoga. 911 Wonder Women, the other diamond sponsor for this Dare to Be Great conference. Sarah Weston, who's the founder, and InDigital have partnered to provide yoga for first responders. And this particular challenge is Empower Yoga. Sarah's going to have a number of sessions tomorrow. I'm sure she'll mention this, but get on her website, get registered. There are videos posted already, and get involved. It's a great thing to be part of, and maybe a great way to kick off this new year. So, what are the health benefits of regular exercise? They are endless. It improves your sleep, increased interest in sex, better endurance, stress reliever, improves your mood, increases your energy and stamina, reduced tiredness, and that can increase to an increase in your mental alertness, can help you to lose weight. It can reduce your cholesterol and improve all of your cardiovascular health. So they just stack up all the health benefits. So again, get out and move a little bit, and you will definitely be glad you did. Educational fitness. Research shows that education can improve your mental health by broadening your intellectual, social, and emotional horizons. That's put out by Pearson Research. But it's not just primary education, secondary education, then you're done. It's continuing education that keeps us sharp. I love this quote by Mark Twain. He's one of my favorite authors. I've never let my schooling interfere with my education. See, we get education through our entire life. It's not just about school. And in our industry, we have a lot of training that's available. Specifically, NINA has their EMP program, APCO has the RPL program, and there are other certifications that you can get. I would encourage you to get involved in and get those certifications. It's a great process. It's a great thing to go through and do those things. But even up and beyond that, take a cooking class, learn a second language, just continue to invest in yourself and learn. And that will help to keep you moving along as well and keep you motivated. This is amazing to me. 33% of U.S. high school graduates never read a book after high school, ever. But a study by the University of Sussex found that reading for just 6 minutes can reduce your stress levels by 68%. So it's also found to reduce your heart rate, to reduce your stress hormones, to reduce your feeling of anxiety. 6 minutes. So definitely want to make sure we're reading. The other thing is getting enough sleep. Not too much sleep. That can also have negative impacts, but the right amount of sleep, Mayo Clinic says somewhere between 7 and 9 hours a night for most adults is kind of the sweet spot. You want to make sure that you're eating right. I know, especially in the profession that we're in, sometimes we don't always eat the best. And of course, we're all kind and generous, and we want to bring all that food into the center and everybody eats, and that's great. We got vendors dropping off donuts and pizza and stuff, and that's all wonderful. But proper nutrition is such a huge thing towards helping you get out of your funk and making you feel better. You got to kind of stay away from a daily dose of processed food, junk food, fried food, and try to get plenty of plant-based whole foods, chicken, fish. You cannot out-train your nutrition. It doesn't matter how much you're working out, how many walks you're taking. If you're not eating right, it's not really going to work out. So do yourself a favor and work on that nutrition. And the other thing that's really cool is just quiet meditation. This is huge, the physical and mental benefits. It helps you to have your mind relax and really can help move you out of that funk. And it doesn't take very long. 10 minutes a day of just quiet meditation. According to Leeds Beckett University, it can reduce the need for painkillers by improving your pain tolerance and decreasing anxiety levels. 10 minutes a day of just quiet meditation. It's good for the heart. You sleep better. It can help you to lose weight. It can reduce stomach problems. It can reduce anxiety. It makes your memory better, helps you to cope better. And it can help you make better life choices so you're not running to those coping mechanisms. The fourth foundational truth is finance. Now, I put this in because financial stress is a real thing. It's huge. People can feel beaten down when you have money worries. It can affect your sleep patterns, your self-esteem, your energy levels. And when you're in that state, it's easy to get angry and snap. You can feel ashamed, fearful. There's a whole host of things that can come on when you're really worried about your financial future. And it's having debt and financial problems, one of the top reasons that people divorce and you have like breakups in relationships is financial problems. Career Builder says that 78% of US workers live paycheck to paycheck. 78%. And it doesn't matter how much money. It's not about the money you make, because nearly 1 in 10 workers that make over $100,000 a year, they also live paycheck to paycheck. So it's not necessarily what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the difference. And more than 1 in 4 workers don't set aside anything for savings. And about 4 in 10 Americans don't have enough money to cover an unplanned expense of $1,000. So when you have that kind of burden hanging over your head, it creates a lot of stress. So how do you get out of that? Well, financial stress can lead to insomnia, weight gain. It can cause you to withdraw and isolate, which again is what we're really trying not to do. So how do you switch that around from a stressful situation into a positive one? Well, you got to budget. You have to know every dollar that comes in's got to have a place to go. Now, Dave Ramsey, if you haven't heard of him, he owns Financial Peace University. I would get on his website, it's daveramsey.com. He has a thing called a debt snowball. So if you are in debt and you want to be out of debt, I'll give you 7 quick steps, but you can get on his website and look at that. Baby step number 1, do everything you can to start saving $1,000 into an emergency account. That way, if your lawnmower breaks, the dryer breaks, you don't have to throw that on the credit card. You just pull it out of that $1,000 and pay it off. That helps to reduce that stress. When you get that $1,000, start paying off your debt. List them all out. How many credit card debt, car debt, whatever you have. Start with the lowest debt that you have amount and just go crazy. Start paying that off. If you got to maybe go deliver pizzas, have a bake sale, whatever, generate a little extra income, throw it all at that. When you get that one paid off, take what you were paying monthly on that one and roll it into the next one. So now you're doubling up or even more on what you're paying, and you'll pay off that next one quicker. And then you roll all of that into the next one. And it doesn't take any time at all, and you can get all of that debt paid off. Once you have that done, 3 to 6 months into that fully funded emergency fund now of all of your monthly expenses. That way, if you have a life issue, you lose a job, you've got 3 to 6 months of your expenses to find something else. When that's done, step 4 is start investing 15% of what you make right into retirement. When that's done, you can start working on your kids' college fund, and then you can start working on your house. When that's paid off, now you're debt free and you're building wealth and you're giving. Giving back, according to Psychology Today, the act of giving to others can increase your brain's level of dopamine. Dopamine's that chemical release in the brain that makes you feel good. Sometimes when runners go out and you get that runner's high, but dopamine is that hormone that makes you feel great, and you get that from giving. And especially in this Christmas holiday season, we got to remember it's better to give than to receive, and it really is. So turn that financial stress into financial freedom by budgeting, saving, investing, and giving. It will help you. And lastly, as we wrap up here, the last fundamental truth is fun. Man, you got to have fun. You got to get out there, and we work hard and we play hard. So take a walk outside, get out in nature. Nature's known to have a positive impact physically and mentally. Find a hobby, take up photography or gardening, something. Just find something to do and volunteer. Volunteer your time, your money, your talents, your energy, your resources. Psychology Today again says that they have studies that volunteering can help boost your own confidence, self-esteem, and your sense of purpose and meaning in life. Again, though, these are huge things to start getting you out of that funk. And you'll find when you start helping other people, it raises your own hope of the future. And because you start to see that, gosh, I'm not the only one having trouble. There's a lot of people out there that have trouble. It helps you put your own trouble in perspective. And that can be very valuable as well. The bottom line here is we need to get up and get out. We got to get moving. Just get up and get out and get moving. Just do something and do it with someone. Don't try to do this alone. Find somebody and have them take that walk with you. Go do something with somebody. And Ricardo talks about this all the time. Share your story. Your life experience is important, and it can be super valuable to somebody else that may be going through the same thing or worse. Share your story, share your life. So, faith, family, fitness, finances, and fun. These are 5 fundamental truths to help you forget your funk and find freedom. I love this quote by Paul Bear Bryant. It's not the will to win that matters. Everybody has that. It's the will to prepare to win that matters. So what now? What do you do? Well, you have to do the next right thing. It's all you got to concentrate on. Don't get overwhelmed by all these things. Do the next right thing. So what's that look like for you? Maybe it's time you call that friend that you've been thinking about. Maybe it's time to visit that church that you keep driving by. Maybe it's time to take that walk in the woods, to take that ride on the bike, read a book, 6 minutes. So I have a mantra that I repeat to myself every day. You're welcome to adopt this and use it. Otherwise, make up your own mantra. Positive talk to yourself is huge. Remember in the beginning where we said you get up and you talk about how today's going to look a lot like yesterday and tomorrow's probably going to look a lot like today. These are self-fulfilling realities, and we want to change that. So my mantra is, I am healthy, I am strong, I am forgiven, and I am free. Never give up, never stop trying, always persevere, dare to be great. So I appreciate your time for stopping in and spending a few minutes with me. At 10 o'clock, we're actually going to have Shane Reckwig is going to be stepping in for Caleb. Caleb had a family issue we need to take care of. And so Shane, who's our Indiana servicer, Indiana market manager, is going to be here to talk. And then at the end of the day, 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern, Ricardo and Leah are going to come back, and they're going to sit down with Lori Ford Beckham, InDigital's Indiana service manager, and Sarah Leserby, who's InDigital's call handling trainer, just to kind of talk about the day's events. So make sure not to miss that. Thanks again for your time and everything that you do from all of us at InDigital. You are appreciated.
All right, man. Very nice, very well done. An excellent message to kick off all of this, and fits Dare to Be Great. All of it. And when you were talking about what happened to you Thanksgiving, I remember you telling me this story too, but I remember someone mentioned it a little bit. It might have been another, someone from InDigital was telling me a little bit about it, but they said you need to talk to Larry. I was like, okay, what happened? And then we talked about that. I remember just kind of sitting there, just staring at you, like, I am so happy that you're here, man, and that everything ended up being okay. We've known each other for years, and it was just in kind of in passing a little bit at like the Michigan conference when it was in Lansing all those years, and
Sure.
then progressing into Indiana, and then we've been buddies ever since, man. So thank you for this opening message. It was a great way to kick all of this off.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it, Ricardo, and looking forward to the next 4 days and hanging out with you guys.
All right, man. Everyone, stay tuned. We're going to be going to the next session. I'm going to bring you over. And if for some reason at all, if for some reason you don't end up going into the other one automatically, all you have to do is click on the schedule and look at the schedule there and just go to the next one. We'll see you there here in just a moment.
Thanks.